Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, December 21st, 2022. One of the big headlines this morning is that NFL Hall of Famer Franco Harris is dead at the age of 72. And he's been a big story in the last few days in the NFL because they were going to retire his jersey this weekend. And the reason they're doing it this weekend is because it's around the anniversary of back in 1972. By the way, he's dead at age 72. But in 1972, in a Steelers-Raiders playoff game, he had considered one of the most amazing catches of all time in NFL history. They call it the Immaculate Reception in tribute to the Virgin Mary, the Immaculate Conception of Jesus. And here we are right before Christmas. And for all the people who missed it, this NFL season began on September 8th, which is the Virgin Mary's birthday. And who venerates Virgin Mary? The Catholic Church. And who are the Rooney family that own the Steelers? A very Catholic Jesuit family. We're going to bring all this together. Why this season, why it's 72, why right before Christmas. But again, they were going to retire his number this weekend in a Steelers-Raiders game, just like how it was Steelers-Raiders when he made the Immaculate Reception. And, you know, he was on TV yesterday. He was on the radio yesterday. He was healthy as ever yesterday. And he was looking forward to the jersey retirement ceremony, only to die later the same day. And before we even go further with Franco Harris, I just want to remind, again, the Jesuits who really run the NFL. The only publicly Jesuit family in the NFL is the Rooney family that owns the Steelers. But, you know, we were just talking about how on Monday Night Football, how on the 103rd day of the 103rd NFL season, as the Packers were winning the scripted game in the Saturnalia ritual, which we predicted, as we've continued to accurately forecast the rigged NFL for a decade. But anyhow, Gary Nefelk is announced dead in the fourth quarter of the Monday Night Football game, a longtime Green Bay Packer who moved and relocated and stayed in the city of Green Bay. But notice how his name in Gematria, if you're new here, Gematria comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. There's a simple code of ABC 1, 2, 3. You learn this code, you see through the rituals. So Gary Nefelk, whose name's 103, dies on the 103rd day of the 103rd NFL season, the day that his team is winning on Monday Night Football. And again, the big star quarterback of the Packers, Rodgers, has the 103 connection, like the company he advertises for, State Farm, like Jesuits. And again, Vince Lombardi. If you missed my video yesterday on this, go back and watch it. But again, Vince Lombardi was a Jesuit who died unexpectedly at Jesuit Georgetown at the age of 57, when Georgetown equals 57. So now here we are, and the very next day you have another symbolic Jesuit death for the, again, Rooney-owned Steelers. And notice, September 8th was the opening day of the NFL season. Again, the Virgin Mary's birthday as it's celebrated by the Catholic Church. She's the one that has the Immaculate Conception. Now Mr. Immaculate Reception is dead. And while he didn't die on the 103rd day of the NFL season, he died December 20th, yesterday, Tuesday, 103 days after the season began. See how this works? One guy's dead in a Jesuit ritual on the 103rd day of the season. The next guy is dead 103 days after the season began. And notice how in Gematria, Steelers equals 103, and so does Jesuits. And if you study who the Jesuit order is, they are master manipulators, and they're known for killing people ritualistically, and their favorite method of murder is poison. Okay, so we're going to go through because there's a lot more here. Again, he's dead at 72. He was drafted into the NFL in 72. The Immaculate Reception was in 72. 72 is a very prominent number also with the Jesuits. It's also very relevant to Christmas and why the Catholic Church has the world celebrating Jesus' birthday on the day that the Catholic Church, which began as a sun cult, began celebrating the birthday of the sun in the sky. There's a very specific reason they do it on 12/25. And actually, there's more than one reason. But a key reason is December 25th is the 359th day of the year. And 359 is the 72nd prime number. And when it comes to the sun in the sky, it moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. And in Gematria, Jesuit order also equals 72. If you're new here, Steelers and Jesuits both equal 103 when you just take the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 is 26. That's the most simple cipher. The next most simple cipher is just running the alphabetic order in reverse. That's where Rogers equals 103, like we talked about yesterday. And then the other two ciphers you want to know are running the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. And when you run it in reverse with numerology, Jesuit order is 72. For the record, when you run it forwards, it's 54, like the word sun is 54 in the most simple cipher. It's all about the sun. Again, we're on this Catholic calendar, the Roman Catholic calendar. According to the Roman Catholic calendar, it's the year 2022. Today's December 21st. This is all according to the Roman Catholic Church. We're on their calendar. If you research English, you'll find out that the oldest known scripts credited to a Catholic monk, Burfirth of Ramsey Abbey from the year 1011 AD. Again, if you follow my work, you know what happened in the 16th century, the calendar, English reformatted with the 26-letter alphabet, the vowels we use, the spellings we use today, the heliocentric model, how all of this stuff is all perfectly synced up and coordinated through the calendar and the language to fulfill these rituals that are rituals of the church, which had intentions of ruling over the world, which surely they do. And a lot of people are blind to that, even though it couldn't be any more obvious. Here we are in America where the whole nation's capital is Roman architecture. Anyhow, dead at 72, the big play in 72. He's dead 3 days before the Immaculate Reception anniversary. They're going to retire his jersey on December 24th. About him wearing the number 32, the Jesuits, their logo, it has 32 sun rays and not arbitrarily. Very special number. The Jesuits created the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. American football is credited to a Scottish Rite Freemason. Here, I'll just show you this real quick. We're going to pull up the Gematria calculator with the 4 base ciphers. Out of the 4 ciphers, arguably the most pure cipher is the dark blue one. Notice how Christ is 32, and with the most simple cipher, 77. Franco Harris is dead 77 days before his upcoming birthday on March 7th. 77 days, wearing the number 32. Again, 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. Remember when the Rays lost in the World Series, giving the Dodgers their first win in 32 years? Not arbitrary. Again, the whole world of sports is controlled by these Jesuits. It's all rigged by the code. That's why we've killed futures and, murdered that World Series along with just about every other one, including this year's. Anyhow, Franco Harris, his name, 77 as well. You run it in reverse numerology. Franco Harris, 77, dead 77 days for his birthday. His jersey's going to get retired on Christmas Eve. You see how Franco Harris is 67? Look how in the same cipher, blood sacrifice is 67. Notice how in reverse it's also 86. Look what happens when I write out human sacrifice. 67, 86. Look at what happens when I write out Immaculate Reception, 86. Look at what, actually also just for the record, since it's a play on words, you see how Immaculate Reception is also 112 in reverse? The Jesuits operate in 112 countries, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Immaculate Conception is also 86, 112, like Immaculate Reception. And again, Catholicism is 112. Mathematics is 112. The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. 1 + 1 is 2. And look again at mathematics and Catholicism. Notice the 112, 185, 68. Catholicism, 112, 185, 68. It goes way bigger than football, you guys. You see how World Trade Center is 185? You see the 77, September 11th, New Year's Day on the Christian Coptic calendar. A lot of people contend it's Jesus' real birthday. But the World Trade Center opened on the 94th day of the year, came down 185 days after Osama bin Laden's birthday. And we invaded Afghanistan on the day leaving 85 days left in the year in a perfect Templar ritual when you had the Skull and Bones member, which is modeled after the Knights Templars, the President, George W. Bush, using the terminology of a crusade as we go into Afghanistan. And don't forget, you had the NFL, and then you had the Patriot Act, and then you had the emergence of the Patriots, who'd never been a good NFL team before, and then became the greatest team ever in the mockery that was. And again, in 1968, the only season the New York Jets won the Super Bowl, the 68 season. Of course, they won it in the beginning of 69, but it was the 68 season. Again, it's Catholicism 68, Terror 68. In 1968, Jets, New York Jets, World Trade Center construction began. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. You see how terror is also 94, like World Trade Center. The building opened on the 94th day of 1973, April 4th, 73, 5 years to the day of the assassination of MLK, which was also in 68. And by the way, MLK was killed on the 95th day of 1968 because it was a leap year. In 68, it was the 95th day. In 73, when the World Trade Center opened, it was the 94th day. But it matters that he was killed on the 95th day of 68 because the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. And the leader of the Protestant Reformation, which brought about the beginning of the Jesuits, who wrote the 95 Theses, his name was Martin Luther, like Martin Luther King Jr., who ends up getting killed on the 95th day of the year. There's a lot more to say about all that, but again, I'm just trying to remind you that it's bigger than football. These people are controlling the world. Again, they have everyone distracted with the sports game. And think about after 9/11. Think about after 9/11. If you guys were alive back then, if you turned on to watch NFL football, what was Terry Bradshaw doing every Sunday before the games? Terry Bradshaw's been on the whole time, bald as ever, talking out of his ass. If you remember after 9/11, Terry Bradshaw made a point every week to condemn anyone out there who was questioning 9/11 and if their government could have been behind it, and calling them all kinds of derogatory names, because that was going on at the time. There were a lot of people who were questioning the event. It didn't make sense. So Terry Bradshaw had to get in his piece every week before Sunday about what a piece of shit loser you were if you were questioning 9/11. That's who Terry Bradshaw, the goon, was, who participated in the rigged NFL and got his pockets overfilled. And this is what happens for participating in this rigged league. I'm not saying the Immaculate Reception was a rigged play. I'm sure it was scripted for the Steelers to win, but maybe they got the bonus of the miracle play of the game. You know, I don't know how you can script the Immaculate Reception, but I can understand how you can script his death in this way all these years later, right before Christmas rolls around. So anyhow, hitting all the numbers. The day he's dead, 12/20, 122. I've talked about this pattern before with the National Football League and suspicious deaths. Again, just to make a point in case you didn't know this one, National Football League has the Gematria 122 as well. And Satanic has the Gematria 122 as well. And San Francisco has the Gematria 122 as well. And think about it. Where was the Satanic Church established? In San Francisco on the 122nd Meridian West. Another city that's on the 122nd Meridian West is Seattle, which is where Franco Harris finished his career. And for all you guys who didn't get the sick joke, when Bill Gates got his supposed clot shot, he got it on January 22nd, 122 on the 122nd Meridian, the anniversary of Roe versus Wade decision. Abortion 122. It was decided 122 days after Roe's birthday. Of course, this year they leaked the abortion memo on May 2nd, the 122nd day of the year. And then they overturned Roe versus Wade a month and 22 days later. And there's a whole lot more to it. All these numbers on the screen were involved in the Roe versus Wade overturning ritual. 94 days from Amy Coney Barrett's 50th birthday, who changed the balance of the court, and so on and so forth. But by the way, just to get on to football real quick, you know, that was the Jackson-Dobbs decision, the Jackson-Dobbs decision. And then a week later, you get the first black female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who became the 116th Supreme Court Justice. You see how Jackson's 116? For the record, just to bring back to football, Deion Sanders just left Jackson State, making the announcement on December 3rd, 116 days after his birthday, that he's leaving the historically black college to go for the big contract in Colorado, very white state. But that was another 116 Jackson riddle. And don't forget that a week before they overturned Roe versus Wade, they approved the clot shot for 6-month-olds, reminding that Bill Gates' father was big on abortion. He's big, both of them are big on population control, and he's big on vaccines. And you see how it all comes together? If you can't see how it all comes together, it's because you got to squeegee out the third eye. You're blind as everything where you need to be. And all of this stuff is major league disgusting mockery. And by the way, all these rituals, which I've covered in much greater detail all year, are all major Jesuit rituals. They control all things in our society. They control all the big tech. They control your government. They control your news platforms. They control your sports leagues. The Jesuits are the Illuminati. And if you don't know that the Illuminati is real, open up a history book. They were established May 1st, 1776 by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Again, your only public Jesuit figures in the NFL are the Rooney family. And by the way, if you have not seen my work on the Church of Satan's establishment and the death of Anton LaVey, he died in a huge Jesuit ritual, so we know who's really behind the Church of Satan too. Anyhow, they're going to retire his jersey at the Raiders-Steelers game. And now he was supposed to be there to do the ceremony, but now he's going to be dead. And again, notice, Immaculate Conception 86, Immaculate Reception 86. Again, the NFL season that began on the Virgin Mary's birthday. This happens. Las Vegas, Sin City, 86. That's who they're hosting now. You know, back then it wasn't the Las Vegas Raiders, but now it is. And don't forget, this stuff was planned long ago for them to move to Las Vegas. The Bay Area hip-hop group, the Loonies, most people know them for their song 5 on It. You know, they have a song from back in the day about how the Raiders are going to go from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas, like a decade before they even ended up in Vegas. I think more than a decade before. And notice Jesuits, like we said, Steelers equals 103, Jesuits 103. He's dead 103 days after the season began. And then also 86, Jesuits 86 when you run it in reverse. We're just talking about this with Rogers. Rogers has the 86103 in his name. And by the way, if you guys are new here, Aaron Charles Rogers, we'll do it again. See how his name's got the 201? The 201, check this out. Order of Illuminati, 201, when you spell it right. The founder of the Illuminati died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. He was a Jesuit. When you write out the Jesuit order, it's 201. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, 201. The first Jesuit Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. He's the first Jesuit Pope and the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which has a name, the Domus Sanctae Martyr, 201. And again, we put out the future for why Argentina should beat France in the World Cup, exactly what happened. They had some nice 201 rituals all along the way. And best of all, Messi, room 201. Look, Messi broke Argentina team tradition. He had to be like the Pope in room 201. And room 201 was Messi. See how they do it? Messi, the Messiah, the first ever World Cup in the time of Christmas. And again, you guys, coming back to the Jesuits in 86 thing, Argentina won in 86 with Maradona. Maradona, his name, Diego Maradona, 107, exactly 107 weeks after his death. Argentina and France are set as the World Cup exactly 107 weeks later. And notice how when I write out ritual sacrifice, it's also 107. It's also 154. Notice Argentina's 154. Maradona died 154 days after Messi's birthday. And Saturnalia is 154. He wins the World Cup in the time of Saturnalia. With regards to Saturnalia, notice Saturn worship, 201. Saturnian order, which is the Jesuit order, 201. Sacrifice to Saturn, 201. Last year, member of the Indianapolis Colts, Brian Kelly, his son died on the Pope's birthday, exactly 201 days after his own birthday. This year on Saturnalia, the Colts are playing again. And who are they playing? They're playing the Minnesota Vikings. They're the only two teams in the NFL with the 201 connection, playing on the Pope's birthday, playing on Saturnalia. Again, Catholic is 71. Kirk Cousins picked up his 71st career win, getting his team to 7-1 on a 71 date numerology. Matt Ryan fell to 3-5 on versus the Vikings' first career. Saturnalia also 35. You guys see how Catholics 35 and 46, like JFK number 35, assassinated age 46, like Joe Biden, the second Catholic president who lost his son Beau Biden at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday, and then became number 46 in an election exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, as we predicted a year and a half in advance, and then was inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. Again, there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament and 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. All this stuff is biblical at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, look how perfect it all is. 112 countries the Jesuits operate in, you guys, right from their own website. Immaculate Conception, Immaculate Reception, 112 in reverse. Jesuits, 103. Steelers, 103, ran by the Jesuit Rooney family, dead 103 days after the 103rd NFL season begins, out of nowhere. And if you guys were watching First Take this morning, you saw Stephen A. Smith say how it's sad because he was so healthy and he was looking forward to the ceremony and he was just doing interviews. And this is just completely shocking. Don't forget when Stephen A. Smith's mom dropped dead out of nowhere and the news broke on June 1st as the NBA Finals were getting underway. Again, it's the Cypress Hill song, Rock Superstar. You know, the price of fame is high. Stephen A. Smith, annual contracts. You know, Stephen A. Smith makes $12 million per year right now. $12 million per year. And again, the price of fame is high. Cost him his mom too. Just in time for the NBA Finals. Now, here's the other thing. I mentioned that we'd be reading about deaths yesterday. I made a point. I said there's going to be deaths today. And the reason why is because of the date numerology. The date numerology was 7438. So Franco Harris died on a 7438 date numerology. These are huge numbers with the Raiders. When Ken Stabler, who won the MVP of the NFL with the Raiders in 74, died, these numbers were on his death. These numbers have been connected to a lot of former athletes. You don't even have to be a part of the Raiders or connected to the Raiders like Franco Harris was through the Immaculate Reception. These numbers are all over death and killing again and again. I literally traveled to Buffalo this year to explain why they had the mass shooting on Israel's 74th birthday with the store on Jefferson Street when 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on 7/4. Again, Adams and Jefferson died 7/4, 1826. And then 1,826 days later, Monroe died on 7/4. But notice, in Gematria, Raiders equals 7438. So does killing, so does energy, so does Gematria, so does English. By the way, how weird was it yesterday that I was, somebody called into yesterday's stream where we were talking about the Packer death, and they went off topic and started talking about natural disasters, but then I decided to fit it in because I knew how to bring it back to the world of sports. And I was talking about the 1989 World Series earthquake by the numbers, synced up with Jose Canseco, the last thing seen on TV before it happened. And then, like, literally right as I was giving that presentation, there was an earthquake in Northern California. And again, on 12/2, 122, the same day, that's the 122nd meridian up there that runs through the Bay Area. But anyway, I was also talking about how, you had the 7/4 earthquake in SoCal in that video, and how Holiday, Energy, nuclear weapon, they're all 74. It was on the epicenter was on the military base, China Lake, which was synced up with the China virus coming to the U.S. Again, it's all in yesterday's video. But I was making the point about these numbers yesterday and how they're deadly and they're connected to energy. And this stuff is about energy harvesting. Think about all the people who will feel low today because they're like, oh my God, he died. A guy like my dad's going to hear this on the radio and it's going to make him feel low because my dad in 1972, let me think, he was 19 years old, watching the sports game. My dad's, like most American men, grew up playing sports, loves sports, watch sports. He's going to hear this today. It's going to make him feel bad because he's around the same age. My dad just turned, did he? My dad just turned, or he's almost about to turn 70. He's still 69. He'll turn 70 next year in April. But, it just, all the people in this age group, they'll start thinking like, I'm getting older, man. This could happen to me. God, he was just healthy yesterday. He just dropped dead. This is what this does to everyone. Everyone knows who Franco Harris is in America. And again, I'm pointing out the same type of stuff year after year. How these entertainment people love to tug on people's heartstrings, how they love to murder their celebrities, especially in these dark winter months as Christmas approaches. The other year it was Princess Leia and her mom were like both dead in time for Christmas. And we've seen that before, like the father-child or the mother-son or the mother-daughter celebrity pairing, they'll die together around this time of year. We're wondering if it could happen to Tina Turner, unfortunately, because her son just died by the numbers. I mean, I hope not, but it would follow a pattern that's been going on. The child dies, the parent dies. So anyway, look at the Gematria going with the 7438 date numerology. Raiders killing energy Gematria English. Again, there's a song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name by the band Slipknot. There's a song out there, Murder by Numbers by the Police, that came out in 83, and the word murder equals 83, as does football. See a lot of suspicious deaths. And then again, right before Christmas, Jesus 74, Cross 74, Messiah 74, Jesus spoke in parables 74, Gospel, the story of Jesus 74, killing, Lucifer, Jewish, Masonic, occult. And you know what? Just for the record, if you run the alphabetic order in reverse of numerology, Jesus Christ is 74. And you know what? For the record, in that same cipher, since the game's going to be on Christmas Eve where they retire his jersey, Christmas Eve is 74. But Franco Harris, born March 7th, he would have turned 73 on the date that can be written 7-3. And that does mean that he's dead at 72, which means he is dead in his 73rd year of life. Sacrifice is 73, as is ritual sacrifice. And like we said, dead 77 days before his upcoming birthday. Franco Harris, 77. Christ, 77 and 32, dead right before Christmas, wore the number 32, 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. 77 days is also 11 weeks. Football player, a game of 11 on 11. Jesus also equals 11, the master number. And, you know, I don't think it's the Steelers Super Bowl season, but there is probably something to him being dead in the year of Super Bowl 57 when Franco is also 57. And for the record, again, he did die 103 days after the season began. He died on the 104th day of the NFL season. The news breaks today, which is the 105th day of the NFL season. And notice in reverse, Franco is 105 as well. But again, number 32, Scottish equals 32. So does America. So does Christ, all in that most pure cipher. Again, the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry shares the motto with the Jesuits, Ad Merum de Gloriam. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry was created by the Jesuit order, you see? And notice Scottish also has that 103 in it, like Jesuits does. And then this nation, America, was founded on 7/4/1776, a date with 32 numerology. And again, just that 7/4 thing. Holiday 74, Independence Day 74. Did you notice how holiday also has the 38? It's always suspicious deaths on the holidays, and you're paying attention. It's got the Gematria like energy, put this special attention towards the holidays. These days, they do change our energy. I mean, think about what it is for a lot of people when Christmas comes around. It's like their biggest day of the year. They feel the most happy. So. And it's the ritualism that brings about the energy and the feelings. And that's what this is, ritual. Ritualism day after day by this Kabbalistic code of Gematria, letters and numbers. And again, for a decade, I've been accurately forecasting the future, sports, news, elections, and showing you how these psychopaths use this code to murder ritualistically. I mean, and again, I mean, Stephen A. Smith gives his presentation this morning and doesn't even bring up the idea that there could be something nefarious here. Why do you think that is? Again, his job is to control people's minds. That's why he's a chosen mind controller to be on TV and keep people thinking a certain way. This is just an unexplained death, one of these tragic things. I mean, like he said, he's like, that's why we got to appreciate every day. You never know. It could be your day tomorrow. I mean, nobody on the panel's like, you ever think like all these super suspicious deaths? I mean, he's covering them all too. I mean, he's covering the morning of the Super Bowl when former NFL players supposedly ran over on the side of the freeway. He's talking about Dwayne Haskins crossing the freeway as the Masters is going on, getting ran over by a dump truck, synced up with the Sopranos, literally. That's how big of a joke it was. 99th day of the year. Sopranos 99. You know, the mob. He's from New Jersey. The mob and the garbage business, you know. But these guys they're never allowing your mind to go that way. It's a coincidence. It's a tragedy. There couldn't be anything nefarious. There couldn't be ritual sacrificed. Again, only the Mayans did that thousands of years ago. That's why they went extinct. That's how they taught us, right, in school? By the way, guys, who gave you that who's giving you all these false spiritual teachings, the false history lessons? Notice the word school. 72, right there. Jesuit order, 72. 72 demons in the Goetia. 72 names of God in Kabbalah. These numbers aren't arbitrary. The sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. How come in Jesus the story ends at age 12 and picks up at age 30? Is it astrology? Let me see. 12 zodiac, 360-degree wheel. What's 360 divided by 12? Oh, it's 30. Oh, the story of Jesus the Son, which dictates where we are on the astrological wheel, ends at age 12 and picks up at age 30. I wonder if it's all astrotheology, like every other religion. Of course it is. People can't figure it out. They can't figure it out. And again, you guys, for people who don't know this, Jesuit Hominum Salvator. That's what the IHS is in the Jesuit logo. In the most simple cipher, 274, when did the Catholic Church begin celebrating the sun's birthday? On 12/25, the sun in the sky, in the year 274 AD. What's the Jesuit logo? The sun with the letters IHS for Jesuit Hominum Salvator. And again, run it in reverse, 266. The first Jesuit pope happens to be the 266th. His name, Pope Francis, equals 122. We were just talking about that with satanic and how the Jesuits are behind the satanic church. The 85 is also interesting. Words like Christ are 85. Templars 85. Again, National Football League is 85. I told you years in advance why John Madden would die at age 85. And who knows if he even really died at 85. We didn't hear from John Madden for years. All of a sudden, they just said he was dead by the numbers. So. Is that right, too? In Islam, they teach 72 virgins when you go to the afterlife. I got to look up if that's true. I didn't know that one. If that is true, I'm going to have to look that up. Here, if there's anybody out there that's watching and thinks all of this stuff's a coincidence, again, I would invite you to come on and explain why you think it's a coincidence, because I really do need you guys to come on and explain yourselves. I know you're out there. Otherwise, this channel would have like a billion people watching right now, because I've been proving the same thing day after day for 10 years. Made a lot of people super wealthy. And again, I know that, see, that's the thing, like Big Al, right? Big Al has made a lot of money in the years he's been following from this. And again, he has a normal day job like most people. He's also a post office worker. And he goes in and with his coworkers, he shows them the slips, how much he won last night. And you know what his coworkers say to him? They think it's a coincidence every day, because his coincidences are like the rest of the zombies in this country that just think everything's a coincidence, that watch Stephen A. Smith and they're like, well, it's like Stephen A. Smith said. It's just like, you got to appreciate every day and you just don't know when you're going to die. And yeah, he might have seemed really healthy and been doing interviews, but somehow he just died last night. Again, it's like they just can't accept the truth because they're so bought into the matrix. They're so bought into the lies. They'd rather watch a rigged sports game and go blow their money on a rigged sports game rather than make a $5 parlay and win $200 for the day off the rigged games. Again, Big Al's been showing them for years. Another winner, another future hit, another winner. And the people around him, they're not even moving. They're not even budging. They're just, they say to him, they're like, you just got good instincts. And then he says to him, he's like, but you guys, I always gambled, but I never won before I learned this knowledge. I'm only winning now that I have this knowledge. And they still don't even budge. So, and a lot of us are in that same situation. It's like my sister. My sister asked me who was going to win the World Cup on Thanksgiving. I talked to her. I said, I think it's going to be Argentina. Have I gotten a text message from my sister saying, hey, congratulations on another nice call? And my sister knows I've hit a lot of sports futures because my mom pays attention and tells her. My sister thought I was mentally ill in 2013 when I started talking about this. She still can't admit that she's wrong, even though she knows. This is what's wrong with the people. So hold on. Let me put the invite out there. I really wish one of you people who's just so stubborn would just come on, who sits out there and watches and denies, and come on and explain how it's all a coincidence, as I pretty much tell you the exact same story about the deaths of 2 NFL players in pretty much identical rituals back-to-back days. All right. I just added the link to the chat. All you have to do to click on that, you do not have to put your camera, you do not have to turn your camera and put your face on out here. So if you don't want your face out here, that's fine. All you have to do is just turn on your mic. You'll come on and it'll show like whatever you type in for your name. It'll be a black box and we'll hear your voice. Also, part of the problem is, you guys, there might not be anybody who's never heard about this before even able to watch these videos because they're so shadow banned. I mean, my own subscribers hardly even get a notification. So if you guys got here late, though, again, a lot of important details to this. But just like I was talking about yesterday, 103rd NFL season. Franco Harris is dead 103 days after the season began. Steelers equals 103, who we played for the majority of his career. Jesuits 103. Actually, hold on. There's one more point. Okay, he died. Look at this. One thing I forgot to say in the presentation. The Romans celebrate the Feast of Mary on December 8th, right? Again, the Immaculate Conception's credited to the Virgin Mary. This NFL season began on September 8th, which is her birthday. Her feast date is December 8th. And that means he died 12 days later, right? He died 12 days later. Big number in the NFL, 12. The football field's 120 yards long. For the person out there who's saying, no, it's 100, people will always leave that comment when I make the point. Again, each end zone's 10 yards. So, yes, the football field's 120 yards long, kind of like 12, like the zodiac, like the 12 hours in the morning and the evening, 12 months in the year. But he's dead 12 days after the feast in the 12th month, and he played 12 seasons for the Steelers. So, played one season for the Seahawks for a total of 13 seasons. NFL has that Gematria 13. Looks like we haven't had anyone join the room. Nobody says I popped up on his feed. Well, that's good to hear, nobody. I used to pop up on a lot of people's feeds, but thanks to the algorithms, it's almost like winning the lottery to have me pop up, so I hope you appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. K through 12. It's technically 13 years of school, but we go up to the 12th number. It's kind of like how there used to be 13 zodiac, and now there's 12. So, yeah, again, you guys, the Immaculate Reception was in 72, his draft year. He's dead at 72 out of nowhere, right before Christmas. Christmas on the 359th day of the year, the 72nd prime. Again, the sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Okay, all right. So, again, nobody's going to step up and explain why they think all this stuff's a coincidence. But if anybody else is in there that wants to come on and has something to share about Franco Harris's death that I'm not seeing, somebody will always leave a great comment after I'm done and point out something that I wasn't aware of. If anybody's out there watching that has something for the death of Franco Harris, something I'm overlooking right now, please come on and share that. While I wait for somebody to come on and share, looks like we got big baseball news. Carlos Correa. I'm pretty sure that all these sports athletes' contracts, I'm pretty sure they're all fake and all just part of the mind control to make every child grow up and just want to be a pro athlete. Because, again, none of these guys help out any communities. They all seem to die broke. And, again, you got things like, I'll never forget when Floyd Mayweather, who's supposedly one of the richest people in the world of sports, did his cribs on MTV, and he showed his garage full of cars, and he said to the camera, he said, I'm not allowed to drive these cars. He said, they're not really mine. I was like, okay, there's a big revo. Hey, what's up, father-son combo? Are you watching the stream this morning?
Brother, I'm just watching the 201 thing. I think you played that last night. Here's a synchronicity for you. Me and Malik went to PS 131 on 4 Hamilton Parkway in Brooklyn. That's why me and him are always going to championships, yo. That's
interesting.
A synchronicity for you. I just heard 131. I'm like, hold on. I went to public school 131. Malik graduated from 131.
Yeah, there's something about these numbers. I don't know if they give us special powers if we're around them or what, but yeah, that's interesting. For people who don't know, this is the father-son duo who pounded pavement with us in New York. He's got the young superstar football player's son who was just in the All-Star game. He got to play in the big stadium there, right, in New York where the Yankees play.
Yeah, also on Sunday, we was at the Jets and Lions game. The bum-ass Jets lost, but Malik and his coach, Coach Harding, got honored for coach and player of the year in the New York region.
Very cool.
So we was at that game after the Saturday All-Star game. But yeah, brother, like I was telling you, that 201 is powerful. You take hold of that. The Most High is giving you that. You take hold of that number, control it, and expose it. That's your number, brother. They tell you.
But by the way, these guys were debating on coming out to New York City, but then his son had a football game, and the bus that rolled up to play him was in bus number 201, right? And you're like, okay, we got to go out.
No, yeah, it was a Hebrew bus.
Yeah.
Hebrew bus by the school that he had played up against that day. We had the football game right after the football game in East New York. The bus was 201, and I took a picture. I said, no, we got to go see Brother Sack. Come on, let's go. We got on them trains all the way from East New York to meet you all out there on 49th and Broadway out there.
Indeed.
It's good to hear from you, brother. Indeed. It's a beautiful thing, brother. Keep it up. You're doing awesome work. Peace and love to the whole community. Please support Brother Sack. He's the best. He's exposing this. And by the same token, the synchronicity is real. Forget the haters. Forget all that nonsense. Dudes like Derek and all that, all phony balonies. Zach is the real deal. And he is blessed. And he's exposing this for what it is. I've been blessed, truly blessed, since day one I met Zach. Car crash, I'm still good. I should have been dead in that car crash. But here, I'm still walking, still talking, doing my thing. And Malik is doing his thing also. So you are truly a blessing, not only to this community, just worldwide, Zach. We got to get this knowledge out there, brother. You have full control. You're like the modern prophet. You're like a Moses, brother. You are supposed to expose this 201 thing. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that once again. And thank you to you and your son. And thanks for the call this morning, too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for picking up, brother. You have a blessed day. And peace and love to the whole Gematria family. Keep it up. Let's keep positive. New Year's coming in. Let's make it better for everybody. Peace and love.
Indeed. Great message. Thanks again, friend. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother.
Take care.
Have a blessed day.
All right. Yeah, that's the father-son duo. If you watched the New York live stream, you definitely saw him out there. And one of the wildest things was his son, we were walking down the street, and he goes, I'm going to make the year 2023 mine. It's going to be my year. It's going to be my big year, my breakout year. And, I mean, you're walking in New York. There's people everywhere. And like Risey says that, here comes a guy right out of the crowd right in front of us. He's wearing a Jordan 23 jersey. I was just like, wow, man. I mean, it's like nobody saw it coming. It wasn't planned. It was just one of those synchronicities. I was like, I think you're manifesting it already. So anyway. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, if you missed it this morning, I mean, he just acted like total coincidence, but this is why we got to appreciate every day. And it's just like, well, he wants that $12 million a year. He's not going to come out and say what I just said this morning. And it's the same reason you'll never see me on ESPN. You know what else made me sick last night? You know who was on Anderson, or not Anderson Cooper? He makes me sick every day, but Carl Tuckerson. You know who he had on last night? That guy that claims to be from Portland, Oregon, that speaks with a British accent, who had to leave America to recuperate in Britain, that Andy No guy. If you guys don't know what happened, he was getting all this national attention. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Because the bookstore was shut down by Antifa, supposedly protesting over his book coming out. So I point out how it was a numerical ritual, like always in the news. And I went down to the Antifa bookstore, and I was handing out free copies of my book and trying to engage with Antifa to help them understand that all they were doing was bringing more attention to this guy and his book. And, if you're going to claim to be anti-fascist, you shouldn't really be about censorship, because that's what fascists have always done. And there were some people in the Antifa crowd who were kind of getting what I was saying and listening and kind of going back and forth and having a dialogue. But then there were other people in the Antifa crowd who are probably like the undercover cops and federal agents because again, if you guys haven't figured out with Antifa on the West Coast, the police have orders to stand down to Antifa. They're allowed to vandalize the city, destroy the city. I mean, since when? Since when are a group of thugs allowed to just hang out and like shut down cities? Well, anyway, one of them bear sprayed me in the face, and then Andy No was right there with his film crew to put it up on his website to promote his own book. And this little goon gets to go on TV. And I'll tell the story in greater detail, but we're getting another call right now. What's up, Steven?
Oh, Zach, I didn't know you were on the air. I just wanted to talk a little bit about possible show. A friend of mine is going to call you sometime around January, February. But I also want to talk about Ground Zero and that sort of stuff. But
hey, by the way, thanks again, Stephen, for helping coordinate things in New York. The guy who I got into it with at the site of Ground Zero, was he one of the people that you're acquainted with?
If you're talking about the somewhat heavy-set guy with the Architects and Engineers T-shirt,
the guy that called me a conspiracy theorist loser.
I think that was the guy I'm talking about, and I don't know him. Although I just spoke to Barbara Honegger. She invited me on her birthday Zoom call, and he was on it. So we've both been in the same place, and I talked to them a little bit about you, and he didn't seem to squirm too noticeably, but he's a bit of a problem. And the guy I'm going to be talking to is Eric, who was the guy who's trying to get the mic away from you
at the end. But they let me speak for a while. Yeah, I mean,
exactly. No, Eric is okay, and so I'm going to be talking to him and a lady named Deborah, who I've known them for a long time. But anyway, I don't want to do all this on the air right now.
Sure, yeah, you can call me off, but yeah, I was doing a live stream, and yeah, it sounds good. I'm happy to participate, and I am planning to be back out in New York for 9/11 again next year. So.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Give me a call back when you get a chance, because I want to talk to you about this radio program.
All right, I'll call you back when I'm done with this stream.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Bye. Okay. Hold on, just checking something. Okay, we did get some people in the room. By the way, just with regards to ESPN even making this story a minute 58, there's two things to say about that. And again, for people who think this is like too much, ESPN is always putting significant timestamps on their stories. We've been documenting this for years. In light of the Jesuits' birthday is 15/8. And in Gematria, Freemasonry also equals 158. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. The other thing is a minute 58 is 118 seconds. And in Jewish Gematria, both death and homicide equal 118. Very fateful number. So again, long history. And right here, if you want to know about 2 minutes and 52 seconds, that's 172 seconds. Kind of like how Jordan's birthday is 17/2. The Jesuit motto, Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, equals 172. Again, that's the one that's shared at the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry with the Jesuits. Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God is what it means. But okay, we got two people in the room, and they both want to share something. What's up, Cody?
Good morning, Zach. How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you got on here to talk about this. I actually just made a video about it myself, off some initial things that I saw, because last week I was decoding the Avatar Way of the Water, which is obviously a birth ritual. It's all about the water. And what I found was that the day that movie released on December 16th, 84 years prior to that, if you search that year, it was 1938. And that was the first year that the German Reich ever handed out an award called the Mother's Cross. And this was all about, like, basically mothers doing their job in the German Reich at giving birth, giving children. And this Avatar movie came out exactly 84 years to the day of that award being established. And the 84 is huge because obviously Jesuit equal 84, but also Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit German leader right now, is 84. And this movie coming out on that day, I made a video the day the movie came out, or the day before the movie came out. The next day in Germany, the aquarium bursts in Berlin. And you get it, the way of the water, the bursting of the aquarium, the fish all over the Berlin streets. And
yeah,
so,
again, yeah, it all makes sense. I'm following it all. And again, we're in the age of Pisces, the fish, and Jesus the fisherman. And it's amazing how many Christians don't even get the reason that their Jesus symbol on the back of their car is a fish. It's just such a mockery. It's such a mockery. You have all these Christians going around who don't get the joke of Jesus. They don't get why they're celebrating his birthday on 12/25. They don't even understand why there's a fish on the back of their car. It's all astrology. Okay, go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, so basically I got a lot of views on those two videos. I don't know who shared my video, but what happened was as soon as I hit 1K videos on both of those, not because what I ended up doing was tying it to Nazi Germany, because that was the same day in history they handed out the awards of the Mother's Cross. And what was funny is that the Mother's Cross was a direct match to Zoe Saldana, who starred in the movie. 172, you just talked about 172 a minute ago. Zoe Saldana equals 172. Mother's Cross equals 172. And again, she stars in that movie the same day in history that that first award was handed out in Nazi Germany. And what's interesting about this story today is that the Steelers wear the yellow and black like Germany. And what's interesting about Christmas and Nazis, if you look at all the connections between Christmas and Nazi Germany, you're going to see a lot. Adolf Hitler equals 110 like Christmas. Nazi Germany equals 133 and 61 like Christmas. And Nazi Party equals 50, just like Nazi equals 50. And this guy dies 2 days before the 50th anniversary of his Immaculate Conception. And again, like I said, that Aquarian that burst in Germany just a few days ago, he dies right in the middle of this Avatar movie and Christmas, which is just, to me, it's just, like you said, just complete mockery of all this stuff. And it's just so crazy that all the connections that Christmas has with Nazi Germany and Germany in general.
Here, I just want to, okay, so you're talking about, just the greater connection with birthing, and again, just Immaculate Reception, Immaculate Conception. The season began on the Virgin Mary's birthday. Also in the news yesterday, this broke yesterday, General Hospital, where do most births happen? At a hospital. General Hospital's Sonia Eddy dead at 55, another death out of nowhere. And this news broke on the 7438 date numerology. We were just talking about this. Why are this factors in with the death of Franco Harris on the 7438 date numerology? But notice her surname, Eddy. 38 like death, like Jew, like Kabbalah. 74 like Sonia, like Jesus, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables, like Lucifer, like killing, like Jewish, like Masonic, like occult. Again, these same numbers connected to death over and over. But yeah, the General Hospital also fits in with the birthing theme. Immaculate Conception, Immaculate Reception, the Aquarium breaking in Germany. For people who don't know, like the history of Germany, a lot of the secret societies and modern day secret societies are modeled after the secret societies of Bavaria, an area in Germany. For all you guys who drive BMWs, Bavarian Motor Works. Again, the Bavarian Illuminati founded by the Jesuit. Adolf Hitler, who was backed by the Catholic Church, who probably went to Argentina. Again, you guys, if you don't know, Argentina, look at how many times Argentina and Germany played each other in the World Cup, first of all. But Argentina has the biggest German population in the world, and we have the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis from Argentina, who replaced the German Pope, who was a Nazi. What was the World Cup after that happened? Germany, Argentina. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring up this woman's death by the same old numbers, and just since she was in General Hospital and we're talking about birthing, I guess it's coming more and more together. But go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, and it's like we're riffing off each other right now, because I was just getting ready to say that Bavarian Illuminati equals 80. Avatar, The Way of Water equals 80.
Yeah.
And, like
there's something about the Jesuits in 80 as well. Here, let me put up the Jesuit 80 stat, because I always talk about the 112 countries they work in. They also make a point that they operate in 80 provinces. Where did I put it at? They operate in 112 countries and belong to 80 provinces. Okay, there we go.
And that thing you have up right there, the Immaculate Conception and Immaculate Reception, do you know that Kamala Harris has a 2-cipher match to those two, 112 and 86? And this Harris just died. This guy's last name was Harris.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's what I was leading to, because I think this is ultimately because this guy has played for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Biden's from Pennsylvania, and his last name's Harris, and we have Kamala Harris, who's the feminine.
72 was the year that Biden's wife and daughter died in the big 201 ritual, the big Jesuit ritual on Limestone Road 201, and that's the year he became senator-elect. So yeah, it's probably is all connected.
Because we don't know exactly. I mean, I think you've already said plenty of times you think that Biden's going to be done before his term's over, but we just don't know exactly when.
Well, I
But
put out my
I
prediction
mean,
the day he took office, around June 1st, when he's 81 years old. So,
yeah, I mean, so I think that this is just another. I think all these narratives are kind of woven together. I mean, it's not just always one thing they're foreshadowing. It's kind of always
well, that's the point
a
I'm always
mixture.
making, isn't it? That the same Jesuits control the whole thing, and they got the whole thing like a bunch of different puzzle pieces, but it is all related. So,
It's just such a perfect web. It blows my mind every day, and I just get so excited about it. Not only because I'm exposing it, but also because it's like, how do they do this? It's and like you said in your video the other day about you being in House 201 after you exposed 201. There's this overarching thing that's always going on, but these people are also manipulating it on a lower level. So it's like, how do we find that perfect balance between the overarching creator and this manipulation that's happening at the lower levels? Because they're taking over this in the lower levels, but the ultimate creator is at the high level. And I think somehow it works together, but it's just so hard to.
again, it's where discernment is. It's obvious, like stuff like this is playing God. And again, the Jesuits are known for killing people with poison. So, I mean, there's a historical theme that lines up perfectly by their little Kabbalistic code. And again, the history is that the Templars brought the Kabbalah knowledge back after the Crusades. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. So, I mean, you look at something like this doesn't feel like this was the hand of God. He was healthy yesterday, giving interviews, and then all of a sudden he just drops dead in the same day out of nowhere. I mean, and right before the big, that's the clear Jesuit manipulation.
That's what I think is like. There's this obviously. You're right. Discernment is key. I mean, there's this obvious, clear stuff that happens that's obviously manipulated, and it's so obviously manipulated that all it takes is a little bit of discernment to understand that it's not organic. It's not something that's just happening randomly. And these people love, and I think this all goes back to what Rambo talks a lot about too, with what Christmas is and how it connects with Germany. It's all about the MK Ultra stuff. It's really a mind control thing that seems like it's always, how Christmas just feels like a complete mind control conspiracy to me, because everyone's so, especially women, love Christmas and they love to put up their decorations. It just feels like a complete mind control, and all this stuff that we get on the news is just more of that MK Ultra coming in. I really love Rambo's work, and he always exposes like the very clear rituals. So yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Cody. I'm gonna let some more people get on, but thank you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care. All right, let's go out to Truth Does Not Exist.
Hey Zach, so yesterday on your video you were talking about that Christmas is too materialistic. So like what's your idea of like the ideal Christmas, or like the Christmas that people should have? Like what's
I don't know. I mean, to me, like the best thing about Christmas always to me was just like seeing my family and being around people and hearing their stories and playing with my cousins, and it was just getting together and having a nice time. That's what I really liked about Christmas, and yeah, I think that's what it should really just be about, is just having a nice time with people and less about the consumerism and materialism. Because again, I mean, do you guys celebrate Christmas?
Well, yeah, this is actually the first Christmas I'm celebrating because my mom's a Jehovah's Witness. So like before I was 18, she like you can't celebrate any kind of holiday when you're a witness. So
Yeah, so
and
okay, you don't really have, but I'd imagine that a lot of people who have a family that got together, that was probably their favorite part about Christmas too. I mean, it is nice to get a gift, but it's just like when I think back about my childhood, the things that I remember about Christmas was just like laughing and having fun with family. And I also think about there. My mom's out there, I'll embarrass her again, but there was a point where we weren't invited over to the family get together anymore because my mom got into a physical fight with her sister, and then we weren't allowed to come over anymore. And I also think about that. But
yeah, it's sad what family can do. I mean, like right now, my mom is like holding my social security and birth certificate like hostage. So like I can't make a bank account. I can't do anything. Like she like refuses to give it to me. So it's like, it's
yeah,
your mom and my mom and your sister are a lot alike. So
yeah. Yeah, women can be stubborn, that's for sure. I'm sure
It's
men
not
can
women,
be
it's
too.
her. I like my stepmom a lot more than I like my biological mom.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that that's what it should be more about is just, having a good time. Other people out there saying, no, it's all about celebrating Jesus. But do you even know what you're celebrating? I mean, I could say, well, then you might as well just argue that it's about celebrating Where's Waldo or Santa or any other fictional character. Because again, there is no proof that there ever was a Jesus. There's a proof of a society of Jesus that's super evil and sinister that worships the sun, that has you celebrating Jesus's birthday on the sun's birthday, like a million other cultures have celebrated December 25th as the birthday of the sun in the sky. I mean, it's just so obvious. I don't know why people can't figure it out. They made a language where we use the word sun to describe male offspring and the object in the sky, and you still can't figure it out. I
Well,
mean,
I
it's just,
mean, Santa's definitely real. I mean, think about how many people would have to be in on it to perpetuate the lie.
yeah. Well, also at the same time, it's just like, I mean, really, I think humanity should just do a better job of. Well, it's hard because people are all essentially everyone's a working slave, and they're all getting the same holidays and time off. So that's when the family can get together. It's just like, I guess ultimately, maybe what I would rather say is we should all figure out how to break out of this slave system so we can spend more time with our friends and family and have more nice get-togethers, and not just on the schedule they want us on, like Christmas or Thanksgiving, which are the only two times when I was growing up that family had time off and a chance to get together. So, uh,
I see you have a gingerbread house in the background.
yeah, the people that we got the house from dropped us off yesterday. I was never had a gingerbread house before, so I thought, well, that's nice. The home
Yeah,
builder
it's
brought us a gingerbread house. Cool.
well, Merry Christmas, Zach. That's all I wanted to ask. So I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
All right, buddy. Enjoy your first Christmas.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah,
Bye.
take care. Yeah, Jehovah's Witness. Wild. What's up, Michael?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I just wanted to run it about this whole Franco Harris. This is the 50-year anniversary. We know Pittsburgh's 50.
Pittsburgh and Steelers both equal 50, and so does Jesuits. Yeah. For people who want to see that, Pittsburgh's 50 in the most pure cipher. Steelers is 50 when you run it in reverse, and so is Jesuits.
Yep, it's the 50-year anniversary. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that, so that's why I was chiming in on that.
Yeah, you know what? I did know that, and that was supposed to be part of the presentation. I'm glad you came in to catch that I forgot to mention that. So thank you.
No problem. Yeah, just like I said, I just wanted to chime in on that, but that's all. That's pretty much all I had.
All right, good chime. Appreciate it, Michael.
All right,
Take
Zach,
care.
have a good one. Yep.
And also here, just for a little bit more on that 50 thing. Again, they call it the Immaculate Reception, which also equals 112, just like Immaculate Conception, going with the Virgin Mary, and the season began on her birthday. And notice how mathematics, again, is 112. And notice how circle is 112, but also 50, like the mathematics of the circle, kind of like how we go in circles each year, the same holidays at the same time, Super Bowl at the same time, World Series at the same time, NBA Finals at the same time, same type of ritual every year, just doing the same thing over and over. Circle's also got the 32. America, 50 states. America's got that 50 thing going on. Okay, and then we got Steve C. What's up, Steve C?
Hey, how you doing? Did you see, maybe you covered it, I came in your stream late, where his son told the media that his father died overnight. And if you type that in, died overnight, it has two ciphers that match the Franco Harris, 67 and 77. And then, of course, and I don't even know what his son's name is. I think it's something weird like Dak Harris, or maybe you can find that out. I forget what it was. Da Harris. It's like a three-letter word, three-letter name for his son. But I just thought that was kind of unusual. And of course, 77 days before his birthday.
Right.
But I don't know if you covered any of that. You probably at least did the birthday.
I didn't know about the died overnight part. I didn't see that, but that's how they do it. I mean, that's the stuff we document day after day. So.
I mean, you just got to wonder if his son's in on it too. Is maybe his son's on the chopping block? I don't even know if his son plays football. A lot of them do.
Yeah, that's why it would be nice if more people kind of came out and spilled the beans. We did have Larry Johnson come on January 2020 and talk about ritual sacrifice and entertainment. How he was pretty sure that Kanye had his mom sacrificed. Now here we are 2 years later, and Kanye's saying his mom was sacrificed. But
And I hit Drake upsetting Mississippi State last night, improving to 9-3.
Saturnalia rituals, a way to use the knowledge.
I think it's only if they improve to 9-3, because there was a narrative for Alabama to lose.
That's not true. We already know that's not true. It's always better if it is a winning ritual. They're more consistent. But again, it was just like the St. Peter's Peacocks, 5.5-point underdog. Their opponent 9-3.
Alabama did not lose to fall to 9-3. Put it that way.
Yeah,
that would have been a nice one.
Became 9-3 versus Alabama.
Last night, Alabama beat somebody that it would have been a Jackson State.
Yeah, they were like a 30-point favorite. So,
although I don't know that they covered, but I don't think they covered.
I don't think they do because it was a close game. But yeah, I mean, in that kind of game, that would be like the upset of the century if a 30-point dog won the game. So,
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had.
All right. Well, I appreciate the observation. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Take care. All right. Chase. What's up, Chase?
Yo, what's up, Zach? How you
doing, man?
Yeah, of course, this is my first time coming on here live. I called in a few times on TFR before. But I'm a San Antonio native, and I just wanted to call in regarding next year for the Spurs, because I know they play on 1-1-3, first month, 13th day in the Alamo Dome. So that's a big headline. It's against the Warriors. And they recently just broke 45,000 for attendance. And it's looking like it could be on the verge to break a record. I know the record holding for the most attended NBA sports game is the Bulls in 1998 against the Hawks. So I was thinking if you could probably look into that and see like what could be up with that.
Okay, I'll take a look at that game. Yeah, the Alamo 13 days. For people who forgot, another great prediction I had in the past was the Alamo Bowl a few years back. It was when TCU had the record comeback on Oregon. And as soon as TCU had the record comeback on Oregon, a national headline broke off that there was a standoff in Oregon at a closed federal building in the middle of nowhere. And since I'm from Oregon, I was like, nobody even lives out there. Like, how would CNN and MSNBC be? Like, how would you even know? Some guys are having a standoff at a building that's shut down for the holiday season, and all the news media is on top of this standoff that just came out of nowhere that's announced right after the Alamo Bowl ends that Oregon concluded. And I said that day, I said, watch. This will either end in 13 days or it will end on February 11th, 41 days from now, because 41 is the 13th prime, and 41 was the big number in the score of that game with TCU. And sure enough, it ended 41 days later. And also, standoff equals 41. Ranchers equals 41. Ammon Bundy equals 41. It was a rancher standoff led by Ammon Bundy. And again, just another example of news and sports, how it's all scripted together, whether it's college or pro. So, but yeah, I'll take a look at that game on the 13th. Interesting. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that's about it. But keep it up, man. It's very informative knowledge from learning here. I look forward to it every day.
All right. Thanks, Chase. Glad I got you out there, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right. What's up, Topsy? Topsy, you're on. There we go. Can you hear me? Oh, we're on some kind of delay. That's what it is. I think you're unfrozen now. Try it out now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Shoot. If you're having trouble, Tops, you can log out and try signing back in. I'll bring you back on in case sometimes you just got to restart the connection.
Yeah.
But I do hear you right now. Okay. But yeah, if you guys missed yesterday's stream, if you're watching this one and you missed yesterday's, I'd encourage you to go back and watch yesterday's stream as well, just so you can understand how redundant the patterns are. And I have streamed these on 2 channels back-to-back days, Gematria Effect Sports and Gematria Effect News. Yesterday's stream about the death of the Packers player in the Big 103 ritual is the NFL murdering former players? How Gary Nefelk and Bart Starr, blah, blah, blah. Again, both men dead in Big 103 rituals connected to Jesuit teams. The Packers and the Steelers are the 2 most Jesuit teams in NFL history. And boom, the very next day, Franco Harris dead 103 days after the 103rd NFL season began. And again, I mean, it just couldn't be any more obvious, you guys. Immaculate reception, that's in tribute to the Virgin Mary. And the season began on her birthday. It just... it couldn't be any more obvious. All right, I'm just checking out the chat while we see if Topsy comes back. The thing to think about with Franco Harris is they had him making the rounds yesterday in the world of sports entertainment, right? He's making the rounds. He's doing the interviews. Was there somebody who came close to him who might have gave him a drink with maybe a little arsenic in it? Here, I want to show you guys some about arsenic in case you don't know this one. Arsenic is known as being the favorite method of poisoning and killing by the Jesuits. And there's something really interesting about it. You see how it's the 33rd? It has the atomic number of 33, arsenic. And in the most pure cipher, arsenic does equal 33. But making it even more interesting is if you write out arsenic poisoning as the gematria of 187, big number with the Jesuits, Society of Jesus 187. They're based in the Abrahamic religions, which is 187 chapters in the Torah that make up the Abrahamic religions. But notice how arsenic poisoning is also 88 in what we'd say is the most pure cipher, just like poison's 88. Poison's also got the 74, dead on the 74 date numerology. And again, it's the Society of Jesus, right? Jesus, 74, cross 74, killing 74, Jesus on the cross at 33. So... when you die from arsenic poisoning, unless you get an autopsy, it can look like you just died suddenly from severe illness. Simple Truth TV says Ronnie Hillman is in hospice care, and this Sunday's the 103rd day of his age. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. He's a lot younger. But we've seen plenty of NFL players die around this age, too. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But, God, if they did that, that'd be sick. And, yeah, the Broncos do have the 103 gematria, so... Broncos 103, you're saying Christmas will be his 103rd day of his age, huh? September 14th birthday, 6 days after the season began. Let's see. September 14th, 2022. Yeah, that should be right. 12/25. 102 days after the birthday, 103rd day of his age if you count the full span of days. So, interesting. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. If it does happen, my guess is it wouldn't have really been the rare form of cancer that got him. They like to throw out headlines that after celebrity dies after short bout with illness, celebrity dies after short bout with cancer. It's like, is that really what happened to these people? All right, Topsy's back. What's up, Topsy? Topsy, you're on. While we wait for Topsy to catch up, somebody said in the chat, Ronnie Hillman's also 72. Look at that. 72 forwards and backwards. Jesuit order, 144, 72. Isn't it amazing? Same stuff day after day. He's a running back like Franco Harris. Topsy, can you hear me?
Zach.
I think the problem is, oh, there we go. Yeah, I hear you. Just say what you want to say, Topsy. I think your voice is going to come through just fine. Just say what you need to say. We'll hear you. Oh, he dropped out again. Yeah. All right, you guys, I do have to get to work. Again, lots of work to get done again today. And sad to say, I had to start out the last 2 days talking about more ritualistic deaths in the NFL. People will continue to pile into the stadiums this weekend, allowing their energy to get sucked, their money to get deflated, paying for the overpriced food, the tickets, the beer. And again, you guys, this stuff is happening in the time of Saturnalia. Again, the Grim Reaper scythe comes from Saturn, and Saturn's connected to death and judgment. So, RIP, and sadly, there will be many more. I'll be back here talking about the same patterns, sadly, many more times before the season's over. And let's just hope it's not Ronnie Hillman, but Simple Truth TV. Put out the spy goggles on that one already in case it does happen. All right, True Seeker. Thanks again. And hold on. We did have one more person jump in right before let's jump off. Let's give one more person the floor. Swaggy, you're on, Swaggy.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, not much, man. With this Franco Harris death, I was, going over the numbers with you. And I was looking like, did you see like any team that was like when you see this death today that has like a clear-cut connection with Harris for the Super Bowl? Because, I
don't think it's about
somebody
that. I don't think that's what the ritual is about. I think it's just, again, it's the right time. Like I just talked about this yesterday, how often we see people die in the world of entertainment in connection to the thing that they're remembered for. And but again, his name Franco does equal 57, and we are in the year of Super Bowl 57. So I think it's just like how the NFL, how it's one big league that shares profits, that shares rituals. I just think this is essentially a ritual for the league in the time of Saturnalia, Christmas. And I don't think it's necessarily pointing to the Super Bowl winner. So
Right. Well, not necessarily the winner, but I'm just saying like pointing you in direction. I mean, all these sacrifices, they could be, serve more than one purpose. You know what I mean? But
it could be for the conference. It could be for the conference.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what city I went back to after the top shooting to talk about, how Kathy Hochul was 57 at the time, who was from Buffalo. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I knew you said something about today was 105 days since the start of the season.
Today, the day they break the news is the 105th day of the season.
Right. Which I'm just saying because, Arizona equals 105 as well, where the Super Bowl is at. And, I know that you were saying earlier before that Mahomes was born on the day leaving 105 as well.
Well, and the last time the Steelers won the Super Bowl, they beat the Cardinals. Well, that was the last Super Bowl for the Steelers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that there could be something about that. I mean, I definitely don't expect the Steelers or Cardinals to be in the Super Bowl, but that could be also part of the history they're paying tribute to. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because you were saying, I remember when Kobe died, you said something about Mahomes and Kobe, and, you said something about the Chiefs got back that, they would go to 3-2 in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, Harris with the 32 symbolism, because he wore number 32, and if it was that 105 thing, I see that connection there as well.
Yeah, NFL is a 32 league, 32 teams. So,
yeah. But I mean, don't you think that? Remember, I mean, I'm just going back to what you were saying before when Mahomes won that Super Bowl 54. The significance of that date. You were saying that was 2-2-20, and that's like the order out of chaos number. And you were saying that it's possible that he could be back in 2022, and I measured from that day that he won a Super Bowl to this Super Bowl, and it's 158 weeks, which you were just talking about, the Jesuit's birthday.
Well,
and the
remember when Len Dawson died, I said, okay. I said, I was all in on Buffalo, but I said, I'm a little bit worried now with Len Dawson's best because you see how Len Dawson, you guys see out there, see how Kansas City Chiefs equals 172? And so does that Jesuit motto, Ad Merum de Gloriam 172. Len Dawson died exactly 172 days before the Super Bowl. And he died on, was it Kobe Bryant? It was Kobe Bryant Day. Yeah, he died on 8/24, Kobe Bryant Day, 24 days before Mahomes' birthday. So
right, exactly. So that's what I was like, man. That's kind of like.
And both of those teams are in the AFC, just like the Steelers. So.
Right, and that 172, that's been showing up a lot because I think in the World Cup they just scored 172 goals, and
here's your 172-second story right here. 172-second story on ESPN's front page about Franco Harris.
Yeah, so sometimes they're doing something with that 172. Because didn't you also say transgender equals 172? And Brittany Griner, wasn't she arrested on 17/2?
She was arrested on Jordan's birthday. I don't think transgender is 172, but she was.
I think it is. Type it in. I think it is 172.
Really? Oh, you're right. It is. You're right. I think you made that observation yourself. I actually don't think I've ever talked about transgender in 172, or if I did, I forgot.
Well, I'm just saying because it equals the same thing kind of as Kansas City Chiefs. 172 and 64, and I see that 53 and in today's 53 days before the Super Bowl, isn't it?
I just gotta say, for people who have not seen the footage of Brittany Griner shooting hoops by a pool, she's shooting a basketball into a hoop that you have on the side of a swimming pool. She's shooting with like boys swimming shorts on and no top. And her chest, well, she shaves her chest. I don't shave my chest, but her chest looks exactly like my chest. So people are like, what, you got titties? No, I'm saying her chest looks like a dude's chest. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So with it being what you were just talking about with Len Dawson, I know that he wore number 16. And, since today is 53 days before the Super Bowl, 53 is the 16th prime. And he played for the Steelers as well. So I know that Len Dawson and Franco Harris definitely got to be connected as well.
Hold on. I didn't realize that Len Dawson also played for the Steelers. That's a good catch. Yeah, he started out with Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City. Okay. I thought he was always a Chief. Well, he was with Detroit for a second, but didn't play.
And the Super Bowl count. Yeah, and the Super Bowl count right now is what is it? 25-27. So if the AFC wins, that would be their 26.
Saturn is 26 in September. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Or it wasn't Detroit. He was on the Dallas Texans team that became the Kansas City Chiefs team. That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so I was seeing that connection.
And there's something to that because, again, I was just making the point about how the Chiefs played the Texans that used to be the Dallas Texans, and they became we got to think more about this. Dallas equals 113. Like I said, the Chiefs just became 11-3, and Steelers also has the 113. So the Chiefs just became 11-3 against the Texans. In history, the Dallas Texans became the Kansas City Chiefs. Len Dawson was on the Dallas Texans when they became the Kansas City Chiefs, and before that, he was on the Steelers.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was just looking at Andy Reid. Like if you go to Andy Reid's coaching record right now, it looks his regular season. Right now he has 114 wins and 45 losses. And like if they had won out the rest of their games.
Well, Now
He
you
can
say
go
that
in
again. Andy
110.
Reid, he started out in Pennsylvania with the Eagles, and they could have the Andy Reid Bowl, and all this could be connected. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Because then Lynn Dawson died at
Oh, look at
87 years
that.
old.
Oh, I'm tripping, man. I'm tripping. Hold on. I wanted to see how far Len Dawson and Franco Harris died apart. God, 118 days later. And I was just saying how the one story they have up here is 118 seconds, and death and homicide are 118.
And Philadelphia, PA.
Yeah, and Philadelphia, PA, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania are both 118. So this story right here is 118 seconds.
And they were just in the 118th World Series. Yeah, everything's connected, man.
And Lincoln Financial Field, where the Eagles play, is 103, like the 103rd NFL season.
Yeah. And didn't you say Len Dawson died at 87 years old?
I got to go back and check. He was
The reason
born June 20th, 35. So, yeah, he died at age 87.
Which is crazy because Philadelphia equals 87. And Jalen Hurts, he was born on August 7th.
Yes, he was. I believe, if I remember right, he died 66 days after his 87th birthday. And Number of the Beast is 66 and 87, going with Kobe's Mark of the Beast ritual. Let me go back and look at my Len Dawson death notes. Oh yeah, Vanessa Bryant won her $16 million lawsuit the day Kobe Bryant died, which is or on Kobe Bryant Day, which is the day Len Dawson died. Yeah, he was 87, and yeah, he did die on his 66th day of being 87 years old. And for people who forget, again, Number of the Beast equals 66 and 87. We see these numbers come together a lot. And if you write out Mark of the Beast, it equals 54 and 81, just like Kobe Bean Bryant, who had his career high 81 points in his 666th game. And then Len Dawson dies on Kobe Bryant Day. And again, Kobe died right before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They hadn't won since Len Dawson. And then Mahomes, remember Kobe Bryant died at 41. If you go back, I remember I was with Jeremy White. We were in New Orleans. We were watching it at the Peyton Manning bar. And we both saw it. We said, watch this. His next pass is his 41st, and it'll be his 26th completion. And it went to number 26 to put the game away. Kobe Bryant, 41. Bryant, 26. Dead on the 26th. Mahomes, 26th completion on the 41st pass to number 26 to pretty much win the game. So,
yeah. So I mean, Mahomes does have a history with that 26, and you know him getting that the AFC to 26 Super Bowl against the Philadelphia 101 team. 26 prime. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, especially with Jalen Hurts being 24 years old as well.
Yeah. These are what I've been on since before the season began. To me, in the AFC, it's either Buffalo or KC, and as the clues mount, it could end up being the Andy Reid Bowl. It could end up being Kansas City, just like the last game. The last game that the Chiefs were in was the Joe Montana Bowl. Joe Montana 54, Super Bowl 54. Joe Montana's two teams, the 49ers and Chiefs. He wore 16 with the Niners, like he won Super Bowl 16. He wore 19 with the Chiefs. That was the 2019 season, with the Super Bowl concluding in the beginning of 2020. And the guy who caught, I can't think of the receiver who caught the great pass from him right now, Dwight Clark. He died in a big ritual that was all synced up with that game.
Right. So you said Joe Montana. He said he wore 16, right?
With the Niners and 19 with the Chiefs. That's why we were saying that it made more sense for the Chiefs to win, who he wore 19 with in that season.
Right. So yeah, because that 16 is just crazy. Because like I'm looking up Jalen Hurts right now. He was draft pick number 53 as well.
Okay. By the way, again, that game between the Chiefs and the Texans, there were 54 points scored in it. And again, the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54, and Jesuit orders 54 forward, 72 in reverse, like how Franco Harris is now dead in the 72 ritual. So.
Right. And did you happen to notice if you type in the Eagles versus Chiefs, did you have?
Today is 53 days before the Super Bowl, but it's also a span of 54 days. And which means he died yesterday. So Franco Harris died yesterday, 54 days before the Super Bowl at age 72.
Yeah. And did you happen to see the last time that the Eagles and Chiefs played each other?
I can't remember the last Eagles-Chiefs game. Let me look it up.
I just want you to see the date of it. 'Cause
The first time they ever played each other was in 72.
Yep.
They
And look
played
at the
on
last time.
10-22, which also has that 1-2-2 sequence in it, just like the day he died is 12/20, which has the 1-2-2 in it, going with the National Football League. Oh, the last time they played was October 3rd, so it has kind of that 103 in it.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing. And if you look at the score, everything that you teach about the
72
N
points scored in the game.
72 points in the N word for the 42-30, and this would be the first Super Bowl with 2 black quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, it could. And it seems like that's overdue. October 3rd, it was 2021. I just want to see how long it is from that game to the Super Bowl. 71 weeks later. Man, if it would have been 72 weeks, my eyes would have popped out. 71 symbolic, though. 71 is a big Catholic number. And technically, it being once 71 weeks pass, you then begin the 72nd week of that time span. So
Right.
in a way, that there is a 72 there. So let me see if 497 is a prime number. It's 497. No, it can't be prime, obviously, because it divides into the weeks. Yeah, I've been talking about that Super Bowl possibility with what's going on with the Eagles season and the Chiefs obviously being right there, and now realizing that Len Dawson started his career on the Steelers.
Right. So what do you think? So what do you think about that? I remember before, like when the Chiefs won, you were saying like it kind of like it was a riddle, like play on words, like Commander in Chiefs with the Trump. But now that Biden's in there, do you think that they're going to do this Pennsylvania ritual?
Well, that's another reason to think about it. Exactly. When the presidents are in there, here, and have I even measured this season from Biden's birthday to the date of the Super Bowl? Let me see how that lines up. His birthday is November 20th. His birthday is the day leaving 41 days left in the year, which is the Super Bowl number. So the Super Bowl is 84 days after Biden's birthday. That means it's also his 85th day of his age this year, where National Football League's 85. Thinking about if those numbers, 84 is just huge. It's Sunday, Jesuit, United States of America. They're all 84. I'm trying to think how it might fit in with either of the two teams we're talking about. The Eagles. I got to go back and look at my my Eagles Super Bowl 52 notes. So.
Right. Yeah, I just was like, it would be crazy because I know that you said in multiple ones of your stream that Joe Biden equals 152, and I was just like, what if they're doing like a play on words, like number 15 gets his second, Super Bowl, stuff like that, against the Pennsylvania team, because Pennsylvania equals 152 and 53 as well, with the 172.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be what it's about. With Franco Harris playing with the Steelers, well, obviously him, but Len Dawson. I didn't realize that before today that Len Dawson started his career at the Steelers. So
yeah, because Eagles and Chiefs both equal 32. I know Harris wore number 32. And you said Chiefs can become 3-2 in the Super Bowl.
If the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and lost, they would become 1-2. No, they'd be 1.
I think it'd be 1-3. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be 1-3.
So that'd be like 41 and 13th prayer. If it's a Kobe ritual,
Yeah. They done some interesting things, and like I told you, I said you got to watch what the score is this weekend in the Chiefs game. If it's some number that would have some significance with the Super Bowl, that could be a big clue. And they did score 54, which was the Super Bowl they recently won. So,
right.
Yeah.
And they opened the season in Arizona on the road against Kyler Murray, who was also born on August 7th. And it'd be crazy if he played his last game against another quarterback born on 8/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like the Eagles always have these sacrifices right before they're about to go to the Super Bowl.
There were 65 points scored in that game. Big Philadelphia number. For all you guys in Philadelphia, the boy in the box murder solved 65 years later. I call Philadelphia the 65 city. Philadelphia equals 65, established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. So,
Yeah, man, it's just some stuff to think about because so Mahomes, he's in his 6th season, right? So that would be like if he was the one, that'd be like his 2nd Super Bowl in 6 seasons, like another 26 kind of.
Yeah, and it would go with the Kobe thing.
Yeah, Kobe 26. Yeah.
There were 72 points in the game that he beat Brady earlier this year. 41-31 Super Bowl number.
Yeah, because when the Eagles lost to Washington, I remember writing down the notes on that game. They fell to 8-1, which is the Kobe number, and that's a ritual number. And it was 91 days before the Super Bowl, and you said Washington's in the 91st season, and Washington Commanders equals 91. So I was like, man, they're just doing a lot of stuff that I just been writing down.
The Chiefs scored 26 against the defending Super Bowl champions. And you know who the Chiefs play this week? They play the Seahawks, who used to be in the AFC, which is the team that Franco Harris finished his career with.
Wow.
And then they do close out the season against the Raiders, division rival, who's part of the immaculate reception with Franco Harris.
Right. So did you see like Andy Reid's record? Like he has 104. He's 114 and 45 in the regular season, and I'm like, if he wins these last 3 games, like his record will be 117 and 45. And Buffalo Bills, he was 117 and 45. And I'm like, is that just some type of symbolism? Like, was the 117? Because you remember you said how the shooting in Buffalo happened 117 days before the first game. I'm like, what if that was just really symbolism for Andy Reid going into the playoffs with 117 regular season wins? Because he can really get that if he wins the last 3.
Sometimes we've seen things like that happen where it's like, it's funny they went with that way, but we see how they use the same number. By the way, Football Reference ranks Franco Harris as the 103rd best player in NFL history. Come on, man. He played for the Seahawks in 84. In 84, Franco Harris played for the Seahawks. He had 68 rushing yards. Come on, man. I call that the Seattle number. Seattle, Washington, 68. Come on. Or no, he had 68 rushes. 68 rushes is what he had. 68 rushing attempts with Seattle. See, you guys, these guys' careers have been so scripted. You have no idea how many 68 rituals they've done in Seattle history. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. And shout out to Mary Toffelmeyer. She's out there. Her brother was a Seahawk, and she found my work one day, and she emailed me, and she said, my brother played for the Seahawks, and he died mysteriously on this date in history, September 27, 2011. And that's the day in history the Jesuits are recognized by Rome. And his death's in my first book, but again, there's a lot of suspicious deaths in the history of NFL players. They got the Jesuit fingerprints all over them. And I'll tell you what Mary Toffelmeyer told me. She said that she felt like it was like some kind of magic because she said like nobody was around and like it was the family trying to take care of him and he just got ill and passed real quick. And again, I mean, supposedly there is a magical component to this whole Kabbalah thing. The Qlippoth, you're supposed to be able to, if you have command over this knowledge, there's some kind of wicked sorcery. So again, I don't have all the answers, but that's a real story from over the years of doing it. And shout out to Mary Toffelmeyer who passed on that information. He was the 44th pick of the draft. Seattle has the Gematria 44 fateful number. Just like how the guy who we were talking about yesterday, dead for the Packers, he wore the number 44 for a minute. He died at age 46, like Catholic and sacrifice 46. Anyway, but yeah, good thoughts. I'm gonna think more about that because maybe that's what they're actually doing. I was feeling Buffalo until the Len Dawson death died, and I still think Buffalo has a great narrative. But if it's not Buffalo in the AFC, I'll be surprised if it's not the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, I think Buffalo is still gonna have that that number one seed, like you were saying, the 14 wins. I do like that still.
Yeah. So far, Mahomes has had Buffalo's number. He did get beat by him in the regular season this year, but in the games that have mattered, he's beat him. So.
Yeah,
All
so I
right.
guess we just got to see how everything lines up. But yeah, man, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, great call, Swaggy. You got my mind moving in the right directions. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, see it. Open up.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
All right, so I was going off of what Arthur brought up with Ronnie Hillman, and I'm not really like much into the decodes. Like I've been following you like earlier, maybe 6 or 8 months now. So I tried to do like a quick decode in the past like few minutes here, and Ronnie Hillman's name 144, like Jesuit order, also has the 72. And then since he's in hospice, I just looked up dies in hospice. That also has double 72 coding.
God, hopefully
And
it doesn't
then,
happen.
yeah, and then from his birthday to Christmas this year is 14 weeks, 4 days, like 144.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not praying this guy dies on Christmas, but I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Well, we're always reading about celebrity deaths on Christmas. It never fails. It's the same thing every year. And it's been football and other athletes in the past, and musicians, actors, actresses. It'll probably be multiple people this year. And sometimes they're old and sometimes they're young. So, I mean, it would just fit the ongoing pattern. And yeah, good observations.
And then another little extra thing, they said he has liver cancer that has 56 in Gematria, you know, and we know about 56, Pope, and a bunch of other stuff. So,
right.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Open up. Good one.
Yeah.
All right, we got Topsy back. And you know what? Before I put Topsy on, I just remind, not this past November 12th, but last year on November 12th, that's the Superior General of the Jesuits' birthday. I had a really weird thing happen at my house, and when the plumber came out, he couldn't even explain how it happened. He said he'd never seen like anything like it. He said it didn't make sense to him, but just like the pipe exploded under the house, not from like it being too cold or frozen. It wasn't that. It just, he couldn't make sense of it. And I didn't tell him what I was thinking. I was like, is this some weird voodoo magic? Because I mean, it created a huge hassle for me. There's water all over the place. And yeah, just the pipe exploded under the house on the Superior General's birthday. And I thought, did I catch the bad end of some voodoo magic here or what? Well, what's up, Topsy? You muted your mic, Topsy, but you look good right now. Unmute your mic and that on the thing. Let me see if I can unmute it for you. No, only you can do it. Like down by your picture, there's like there should be like buttons. Oh, there you got it. You're good.
Okay.
Man, Topsy must have the ultimate message. They don't want it to get broadcast today.
Acting crazy.
There, I heard you.
I got stuff.
You know what, Topsy? If you want to try calling in, because you obviously have something to say, I'm going to open up the phone line for you. Why don't you just call in? 509-560-4982. You guys don't call in and use the phone number right now. Let Topsy call in. 509-560-4982. I'm holding it open for Topsy because he's got something to share with us, obviously. $509-560-4982. Let's keep saying in case he's. Oh, we got a call. I'm hoping it's him. Is this Topsy?
Yeah, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Yo, so today is the day of the winter solstice, and it begins at 4:48 p.m. Eastern time. And It's Franco Harris sums to 448 in Latin. I know that's an important verse. And this is the Steelers' 844th game since the Immaculate Reception. The recollection of 448.
Wow.
So I feel, so I feel like there has to be something with that. There has to be like the clue or and what's the correlation between like the Immaculate Reception and the Immaculate Conception? Like, why would they play on that?
Because that's Virgin Mary, and this season began on the Virgin Mary's birthday.
Gotcha. Okay. And Mike Tomlin is on 160 wins. Frank Harris's full name, Frank Doak Harris, comes to 160 in English order.
And Las Vegas Raiders equals 160 as well. Man. Yeah, see, I was eyeballing that for weeks. I was like, I think Tomlin's going to be on 160 wins in that Raiders game. And then he picked it up the week before, and okay, it fits in with Franco Harris's name. Good catch.
Yeah, his full name, Franco Doak Harris, comes to 160 in English order. And the Steelers are on 72 AFC West wins. And, you know, it happened in 72. He died at 72. I think that's the riddle. But they have, on the Steelers side, the Steelers are on 229 home losses. And he caught the Immaculate Reception on the 9th month, 2nd week, 2nd day of his age, 229. And, you know, it's the 50-year anniversary. Steelers equals 50. That's what the Steelers have on that side. But I think it's the 72.
Okay. Yeah, I got to do a lot of work for my NFL Week 16. And Week 16, right? His name is 160. He's dead right before Week 16, 16. But yeah, here's Tomlin, you guys. He's on 160 wins and 93 losses in the regular season. He stayed on 93 regular season losses in Saturnalia. And I must have overlooked that. But anyhow, now Franco Harris dies right after he gets the 160th win. And again, his name's 160. Look at Las Vegas Raiders. That's who they're going to play next, just like how he had the Immaculate Reception against the Raiders.
Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy how they do it. And Mike Tomlin was 9 months, 1 week, 1 day when on the day of the Immaculate Reception. 9 months, 1 week, 1 day.
Wow. Vatican Hill is 911 in Jewish Gematria. So,
what's the correlation with 9/11 and Jesus?
Vatican Hill, the Catholic Church.
Gotcha. And the last time
and just the date, September 11th, is New Year's Day on the Christian Coptic calendar, and a lot of Bible researchers contend that's Jesus' real birthday.
Crazy, yeah. I just wanted to share that, though. I thought that was really interesting, man. The 448, winter solstice begins at 448 tonight, and Franco Harris in Latin sums to 448, and this is the Steelers' 844th game since the Immaculate Reception.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's mind-blowing. So.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, man, I just wanted to share that, man. Let you go, man. I know you got a lot to do today, but y'all stay up, man. Appreciate you.
All right, great call. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, take care. All right, you guys. Yeah, I got to do the radio show tonight. I got to do a ton of work today. Wednesday's always a really busy day for me, and I normally don't start the day with a live stream because there's so much work to do, but this is a big deal, and the word has to get out. And all right, we got one more. All right, take one more call, then I got to get off here. All right, what's up, caller?
Hey, Zach, I finally got a hold of you. I'm the guy that sent you the SD card with a little video on it and a letter.
I know you said you were sending a second one. The second one never showed up. The first one I had to pay for the postage. So.
Right, but you said you got the first one, which is, I'm just trying to get you some kind of an introduction. But if I could just get you to give me a call when it's, tell me when it might come, and we need to have a little conversation.
Okay. All right.
It's very hard to get a hold of you.
Sure.
So you got my number?
I do.
Okay. Today, different day, what do you think?
It's not going to be today. Today I'm already way behind. But I will call you soon.
Well, even if you don't look at the card, just give me a call and we'll talk about it.
Okay. Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
See. Okay. Yeah, timing's everything in life, you guys. Like, part of the thing is, like, that guy wants me to do like a big thing. He asked me to do it like in the middle of like moving when I was already behind. It's just like, I don't know if it's time for me to take on another project. But anyway, let me shut down the phone so I don't feel compelled to answer it anymore. And somebody calling him right now. Hold on. Somebody's it better not be a troll. Let's see. 201 area code. What's up, 201?
Hello.
Hello.
I've been a supporter. Been a supporter. You actually got me into numbers. Actually got me into Gematria and numbers. And you were the first person that I seen like with a real big following. You know what I'm saying? So like I've been wanting to call you for a long time, and I've been wanting to just ask like, so who do you think right now is your future for the NFL? Because mine has been the Chiefs from the beginning of the year, just because Mahomes. Right when I watched Kansas, I had Kansas to run it off with Bill Self after his dad died, and it was 2022, and he had to get his second championship at that point. So that's why I had him. So now, 2022, it's all about the two. So now I'm over here thinking, I got to believe that Mahomes is going to run off to the second Super Bowl. That's why I had him getting the second MVP. So what do you feel? What do you feel about that?
I think it's a great narrative. I mean, I just told the other caller in the AFC, I only see it being one of two teams, and that's definitely one of them.
You know that Andy Reid, he won the last one, his 222nd win on a 2-2-2, and now this one, 21-12, Kansas City equals 1-2-2, and then we're all equal. It's all about. So I don't know. I really like the narrative this year, and then I want them. I think they're gonna verse the Eagles, but I just don't know if they're gonna pay out the favorites like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know either.
So I think if the Eagles, because I like the Eagles to go and lose to the Chiefs, because it'd be the first time a city has lost 3 championships in a row in 2023. So but
Philadelphia is the 2-2-3 city. That's another thing that's interesting about Philadelphia. So.
Yep, exactly. So that's why I do think Philadelphia. And who else? Philadelphia is always sold. They've always been backsellers. So they would be the city to go really lose 3 championships in a row. So, but the thing is, if they wanted to do that, I low-key think if they want to do this black quarterback, Dak Prescott got a good narrative too. I feel like, and then they got
Well, since this death right here is synced up with the Super Bowl, let me immaculate reception. Give me another play in recent NFL history that had to do with a crazy catch, and it kind of had like a biblical theme name. Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
You don't remember the Minnesota Miracle? Against the Saints, the 61-yard Minnesota Miracle.
Are you talking about what? The last game? Like the Vikings, when the Vikings just came back?
No, it was a few years ago, man. They called it the Minnesota Miracle.
I'm only 19. I just got into numbers.
Okay. Oh, okay. It was probably about 3 years. It might have been 4 years ago now. Time flies. But yeah, go back and search Minnesota Miracle. They're another team as crazy as their season has been.
And then, but I was going to say the reason also right now it's really looking good for Mahomes because, if the Bills hold it, he'll go for his 12th playoff win on the 12th.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So then last year we seen that's why the Rams won because the Rams that he had to go Matt Stafford in his 13th season had to go 1-3 against the Bengals.
Okay. Yeah.
So they always have a big they always do a big day. That's why they moved it last year. That was the obvious one for me. Like for me, the Rams was such an easy play. Now that I look back,
right? They moved it to 2-1-3. Again,
exactly moved it to 2-1-3. Exactly.
But here was the other thing that started to make me worry. The Odell going to LA, because again, people didn't know this, but the Rams are originally from Cleveland. So Odell went from Cleveland to LA on the day leaving 56 days left in the year, which was his birthday before Super Bowl 56. Then they moved the Super Bowl to 2-1-3. LA's the 2-1-3. But then they had the first ever Monday night football playoff game. And then I was like, man, that's another big 2-1-3 tribute. Because Monday Night Football is 2-1-3. So Georgia wins it. Stafford, who went to Georgia, wins it. It's all ritual. So
exactly. That was it. Exactly. No, yeah, it's all ritual. That's what I'm saying. Like exactly. Like I don't have a job. For me, I literally straight fed off the numbers, and that's how I make my living.
Well, good for you, man. Hey, way ahead of you never even had a slave job, only 19 and already doing it. Congrats to you. We'll keep it up, man. Yeah, good thoughts.
Thank you. Good talk.
All right, yeah. All right, yeah, take care. All right, appreciate it, man. He's in the 201 area code. That's right across the river from the World Trade Center. That's where it's kind of, I don't know how big the 201 area code is, but that's where I was staying when I was in New York. It was super hood over there. Let's see. It reminded me of the movie. What was that movie called about stealing cars in New Jersey? Came out in the 90s. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to update some things to this post because there's some other good observations. But yeah, the thing about Tomlin being on 160 wins and his full name being 160, 93 losses. Again, the big Saturn number during Saturnalia. It's crazy how they do it, man. His next total loss as a coach is going to be 103. He has 93 regular season losses and 9 in the postseason. So his next loss is the 103rd. That's something to think about with this week's game. Yeah. All right. New Jersey Drive. Yeah, that's what it was called. New Jersey Drive. So, tell you what, my car made it, though. I drove my car out there. Nobody even messed with my car. So, anyway. Not Gone in 60 Seconds. Definitely a different movie. New Jersey Drive didn't have the production value that Nicolas Cage Gone in 60 Seconds did. That movie came out later. New Jersey Drive, I was like probably elementary school or middle school. Gone in 60 Seconds. That was a cool movie, though, Gone in 60 Seconds. I was in high school when that came out. All right, guys. We'll leave it there. Thanks to everyone who called and contributed. And RIP to Franco Harris. And those of you guys who continue to, like, buy tickets to the games, like, again, I feel like you're just, like, you're paying money to very evil people. I don't know why some of you guys continue to go to the games. So I know you can't control your significant other, but like if it's you who's aware of what's going on, you'll never see me in a pro sports stadium again, unless I'm invited to speak at a Steelers game to talk about the death of Franco Harris. Then I would go, but I'm not paying for anything. But I'll go. But that's never going to happen. You know what I mean? They're not going to come having to speak on the field about how they ritually sacrificed a former great player. So. But yeah, just pay attention to all the multimillionaires that are on the TV every week and how they all talk about it like it's just a great tragedy and, you know, just live for every day. And nobody brings up the obvious, all the obvious ritualism and these suspicious deaths that happen left and right. And nobody raises an eyebrow. Nobody talks about it as if it's even a possibility. And that's all the TV ever is the talking head. Just keeping everybody in this realm of coincidence theory. Everything's just a coincidence. There's no such thing as a conspiracy. Nothing nefarious ever happens unless it's in another country. You know, the American dreamers thinking they're free. We got the freedom. All right. Till next time, everybody. Have a good one.